Welcome to the Growing Father Podcast. We are here to help you build a life that you're proud of. My name is Felipe Freitas, and today we're going to be talking about 5 things that I do with my kids that has helped us build a much stronger and deeper relationship. Now, before we really get started here, understand this. I am not a psychologist. I'm not an expert. I'm just a dad, right? And so I'm here to share with you things that have worked for me and my family and my children, things that I have seen the positive impact with them. But it may not be the same for everybody. But if it's helpful for you, cool. Take advantage of it. Number one is that we laugh together. So I don't know if it's a sign of times or if this was just something with my family, but my dad was always very serious, uh, very straightforward. So we didn't share a whole lot of those moments where we were just having a good time, or at least not that I remember them, especially as a kid. Maybe as I got older, and especially as after I had my own kids, I started seeing my dad being a little bit more of that fun figure. But as a kid, I don't remember my dad being that person. And so I really enjoy that I laugh with my kids. I really enjoy that I get to laugh and enjoy life with my kids. That we're not too serious, that I'm not seen as this figure that can never be made fun of, that nothing that happens with me is funny, that we have to be, frown face all the time, and that they better settle down when they're around me. So I enjoyed that we have that kind of relationship. The other night I was working here in the office, and before you know, one of them got up because they couldn't go to sleep, and before you know, both of them are here in the office with me. So I took a break and we went to lay in bed. I went to lay in bed with them for a little bit, and it was like my wife would describe as 3 kids, in bed, and we were just laughing and joking, until it was time for them to go, actually go to sleep. But I think that's a fun memory that we'll share, and we have many, many moments like that. So I think not being too serious and not taking myself too serious with them has helped us develop a relationship that we all enjoy. Number 2, we do shit together. All right. So we're active. We like to do things together. We look for opportunity to do things together. So the other day, before school started, we went to the springs early in the morning. We went swimming. We do jujitsu together. We wrestle in the house. We go for walks. We go for hikes. We go for bike rides. We get the ball and go play around. My little one likes to hit the mitts, so he likes to box a little bit. So we are active together, which even generates more opportunities for us to laugh together as well and have different conversations. But that has been a tremendous benefit to our family, that we're looking for those opportunities, that we're not just sitting around. We grow our relationship doing things that are beneficial to us, that help us be in a better mood, that helps us see some of our character flaws at times, right? When you're being active, it's a little easier sometimes to see when you're being perhaps complaining too much, or not being very kind to each other, being impatient. So being active has been a game changer for us. Number 3, this is a big deal to me, which is say what you mean what you say. That applies in a few different areas. Number 1, if you promise something, follow through with it, both positive or negative. If there's a negative consequence to something that they did, you got to follow through with it, however unpleasant. If you said you were going to do it, if you said there was going to be a consequence, if you said that something was not going to happen, follow through with it. But also positive. If you said that if they got an A in school, you were going to go to the pool, or you're going to go, do what you can. Do those things that you promised. So to say what you mean what you say, that also means that you have to be careful with what you say. You can't just be talking out of your ass and making a ton of promises and threats to your kids that you have no intent of following through with it. The other side of that is of that principle is also giving some thought to your beliefs and to your concerns, to know what you want to share with your kids, how you want to share with your kids, so that they can understand a little better where you're coming from with things. So I don't like to tell my kids things that are not true in order to make life easier with them. So I've heard parents say, for example, that they cannot go to Chuck E. Cheese because Chuck E. Cheese is closed today, when they know it's not true. I'd rather tell my kid the real reason, even if that is, I don't want to go to Chuck E. Cheese, which is, true most of the time. But I tell them that, nope, it's not happening. We're not going to go, because I would rather them have the opportunity to deal with that feeling and to know what's actually happening than to always have some BS story of why we cannot go. I don't need to be the good guy all the time with them. Sometimes that's just the truth, right? We're not going to go because dad's tired, because, hey, we don't have the money to go to Chuck E. Cheese today. All those things I think are valid, and I would rather my kids know those things than for them to think that, it's just the day of the week that they cannot go. That also applies with things that are hard, right? We've had family members that passed away, and when my kids ask me, I tell them what I believe that has happened, more than just, what I think they would like to hear. Sometimes life is hard. I tell them, hey, it's okay. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be sad about this, but I don't try to tell them something that I don't believe in just so I can make them feel better in that moment. I say what I mean and mean what I say. In trying, it doesn't mean that I'm perfect. Sometimes I slip and mess that up, but that's my intent, right? That's my intent on what I'm going after, is to be honest with my kids. And if there's something that I don't think they are ready for, then I'll tell them, hey, I don't think we're ready to have this conversation yet. But I prefer to do that than to give them some, yes, the stork brought you in. You just showed up at my house. I don't even know what people tell their kids about that stuff anymore. But I might tell them, I don't think we're ready to have this conversation yet. I don't think we're ready to go that much into detail yet. These are things, if my child hears a word and he asks me what that word means, I don't just tell them that's a bad word, you should never say it. I might tell them, you're not ready for me to share with you what that word means yet. Move on. You should probably not say that word in public, right? You should probably not say that word to other people. So that's just how I have approached that portion with my kids, and it has been very fruitful with them. It has created a very, very deep and has given my words with them weight. Number 4, apologize when you are wrong. I grew up, and just going back to my parents a little bit, I don't remember my parents apologizing much. We grew up in a more authority-based parenting, where your parents were never wrong. You do because I said so. If I said it. I remember one time I was arguing something about my cousin, with my cousin, and she said something like, these colors don't match. And I said, my mom said it does. And she said, well, they do not. And I just remember being so offended that she would even insinuate that my mom was wrong. I was like, are you saying that my mom is wrong? Right? As that was such a big offense. So my kids don't see it like that, because they have seen me mess up plenty. I apologize to them often, and I'm not saying everything I have to apologize. But if you're a parent, you know there has been times that your patience was shorter than it needed to be. You know that there has been plenty of times that you did not follow through in your word, that you didn't do the thing that you were supposed to do. You did the easy thing. You know that. You know the time that your fuse was a little short and you yelled at them. And if you don't, God bless you. I have, right? I have yelled at my kids when they did not deserve, just because I was stressed out, or I had just had a fight with my wife and now they came in and I'm pissed off already, right? I have. If you don't, good for you. Not, I cannot join that club because I've messed that up already. But I've had many conversations with my kids where I go say, I'm sorry. I was impatient. I did not listen. I did, misjudge what was happening. And so apologizing to your kids is not a sign of weakness. And I think it actually teaches them, hey, it's okay. There's not this mountaintop where you're going to be an adult and you don't make mistakes anymore. You're not going to be an adult and just know everything, right? You're still going to mess up. And I think the other side of it is that it's not just apologizing, but it's also trying to do better. So every time I apologize to them, I try to say, hey, sorry, Dad has been so impatient. I'm going to do better. I'm going to pay more attention. Hey, I know that I have been giving you a bad example about this or that, right? I cannot, for example, tell them how they're not supposed to be on the electronics so much when I'm on my phone all the goddamn time. So that's apologize and say, hey, I'm so sorry I've been giving you a bad example about this. I'm going to do better. Would you help me do better? Right? Would you, not about everything. So with the phone example, my kid will say, hey, Dad, I think you're on your phone a little bit too much. Instead of saying, shut up, leave me alone, I'll tell them, hey, you're right. But that can only happen because of that initial conversation that we had, because I opened to them, hey, you're right. Just because I'm doing it does not mean that it's a good thing. So I would like some help also. I would like some accountability to do better. So apologize to your kids. You know that you're not batting 1,000 out there. You know when you messed up. Just apologize to them, do better, and move on. And last, but definitely not least, is balancing high expectations with grace with your kids. So since we've had kids, I've been hearing, and as people have kids, I continue to hear. They're acting like this because they're 2, because they're 3. It's the terrible 2s, it's the 4s, it's the 5s. And then they're teenagers, and their expectations continue. Well, that's a teenager. We had an exchange student not that long ago. And if you've been around us, you know that wasn't exactly a positive experience for us. But one of the things that we heard all the time was, well, that's a 17-year-old girl for you. Well, that's a teenager. And it seems like we associate that low expectation with whatever stage the kids are in, that makes acceptable whatever poor behavior is happening. Now, I'm not saying that a 2-year-old or a 17-year-old is supposed to be perfect and that there's nothing associated with age, right? And the stage of development they're in. But we also have to understand that good things or bad things don't happen in a vacuum. Your 2-year-old is not going to turn 3 and become a great kid just because now he's not 2 anymore. If you don't address the issues that come up when they're 2, then they're just gonna keep growing. If you have a 15-year-old that has no sense of responsibility, no social skills, no sense of wanting to grow, guess what? When they're 16, when they're 17, when they're 20, that's not just going to change if you don't help them and if you don't guide them to do better. When a 2-year-old has an outburst, yeah, 2-year-olds have outbursts, but how you handle that is going to determine if they're also going to have outbursts when they're 3 and when they're 4. So balancing high expectations, nope, this is not acceptable, with grace to, yeah, we are all messed up. We all, we all screw up this thing. Right? I'm an adult, and there's times that I realize that I mistreated somebody because I was hungry. Right? It's pitiful. It's pitiful. But we all have to realize, yeah, but that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. That doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it okay for me to mistreat my wife because I have a lot of stress at work. It doesn't make okay for me to come and just talk to my kids, however, because I had a bad day or somebody was rude to me or traffic was too bad. None of those things make it okay. It's perfectly fine for your kid to understand that just because he's hungry or he needs a nap, that doesn't make it okay for him to just act however he wants. And so many times I hear parents making those excuses. So many times I hear parents saying, well, he needs a nap. Yeah, so you should take your kid and you should go help your kid take a nap. Nobody else should be having to put up with your kid because of it, right? So we need to grow the expectation for our kids. If there's one of the biggest flaws that I think in society today is that we've become the society of low expectations. Everything is okay. Everything is fine. There's no good or bad. It's just whatever you want to do. And there are things that we do that improve our life, and there are things that we do that make our life worse, right? If you eat out of control and you become 500 pounds, yeah, there's some negative consequences with that. It's not just whatever, right? If your kid is unbearable and a brat because he's 2, 3, 15, whatever, he's going to have less people around him. He's going to have less people that want to be with him. And that's going to make life harder for him or for her. So help your kid have positive expectations, to not settle for less, when it comes to their own behavior. But also help them understand, hey, you messed up. It's okay to fix it. It's okay to get better. It's okay to move on. Right? Let's try next take. Let's do better. So balance those out. But there's no grace if there's no wrong. If everything they do is acceptable, then there's no grace. Because if I didn't do anything wrong, then you can't forgive me, right? So teach them that there are expectations, there are standards, and there's also forgiveness. There's also understanding that your expectation is not that they're going to get it right every time, but that there is right and they're capable of doing right. So there you have it. Those were my 5 takes that have helped me a lot with my kids. So laughing together, being active, having some weight to your words and meaning what you say, apologizing to them, and also, apologizing to them when you're wrong, and also balancing those expectations and giving them the understanding that they can mess up, fall short of those expectations, and continue to strive for them. Like I said in the beginning, I don't think this is how every parent should do it. This is just how we do it, and this has produced incredible benefits, has opened the conversation with our kids. It has set the stage for us to ask things of them, and for them to also grow knowing that things are expected of me. I have a certain way to do it. We can have a good time, but there is also things that I need to accomplish and things that I need to do. to be a functioning member of society and of this family. So I hope this helps. If you're struggling, or if you know somebody that's having a hard time with their kids and you think that this will help, share this episode with them. But I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you for watching.